Okay.
Good evening, delegates. I would like to welcome you all in the 7th PCGT Model Youth Parliament, organized by Public Concern for Governance Trust in collaboration with SVKM's Pravin Gandhi College of Law. Starting with the introductions, myself, Shaili Sheth, and I am the OC member for this committee. I would like to introduce you to the Executive Board of Lok Sabha, starting with Professor Chinmay Bendre, who will be serving as a speaker, and Ms. Riya Khanolkar, who will be serving as a deputy speaker. Before starting the ROP session, I would like to request to all the delegates to turn on their cameras for better participation. Any doubts or queries regarding the ROP or the agenda of this committee will be addressed by the executive board. And it's a request for the participants to keep their mics off and to raise their hands for the doubts or any queries. We may begin the session.
Yes, thank you very much, Shaili. With this, I would just like to begin with the formal ROP session. So, to begin with, I would just like to know that how many of y'all are first timers or have never done any Indian committees. Can you all please just raise your hands? Okay, okay. Thank you very much. So there are almost 6 to 7 people who are first timers. That's completely fine. So we'll be just going ahead with the ROP session. Basically, to inform first, the languages that we will be using will also include both English, Hindi, so y'all are free to speak in these particular languages. Now, with regards to the other languages, they will be allowed in terms as you can definitely use certain quotations or certain quotes or certain poems if you have. You all can use languages apart from these two, but it would be expected that if you do not use some different language all of a sudden for the whole speech, otherwise you'll have to ensure that you translate it for us as well as the committee. Now, starting with the ROP, firstly, we whenever we start with the committee, we always start with a roll call. तो formal roll call इसीलिए होता है ताकि we establish a simple majority. Now, what is a simple majority? It is as simple as that in order to vote for any notices or to vote for anything to pass, be it for matters of discussion, be it matters for any other hours that we have, such as the 0 hour. So for all these particular thing, there has to be a particular majority, and accordingly we decide what we will be going ahead with. So as simple, like let's say the committee strength is 40. So it is always half plus one of that. Like let's say the committee strength is 40, so half of that will be 20, and keeping on plus one as an addition. So 21 is this number will be known as the simple majority to pass any notice. कोई भी किसी भी प्रकार का नोटिस या जिसको हम प्रस्ताव पत्र कहते हैं या फिर कोई भी प्रकार का आपको वोटिंग के माध्यम से जब आपको एक चीज को पास कराना होता है तो ये हमारी सिंपल मेजोरिटी बीट फॉर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन बीट फॉर एनी पर्टिकुलर part whenever we talk about the bills. For all of these things, you are supposed to have this particular simple majority in consensus of everyone. This is the minimum criteria. जितने ज्यादा हो सकते हैं उतनी अच्छी बात है. Now, after we establish a simple majority and we complete our roll call, then comes the different sessions that we have in Lok Sabha. Now, Lok Sabha is a committee which strictly follows parliamentary procedure, and especially from the Green Book that we have. So, considering this is a stimulation that we have, obviously there are certain modulations. There are certain different ways in terms we conduct different hours, but uh, in general, the entire ROP is based completely on the Green Book that is available. If you want to read these rules of procedure, it's a very big document, but you can easily find it online. and accordingly you can access that as well. Along with that, with regards to this ROP, considering this is a stimulation of Lok Sabha, it is also there are certain discretion of the executive board. So therefore, keeping both things in line, this particular procedure is conducted. Now, starting off with the first session after the roll call is that known as questionnaire. इसको हम प्रश्न काल भी कहते हैं. So questionnaire is something जहाँ पे you get to ask questions. Now, who asks questions to whom is something that is very important to note. So questions are being asked to the treasury bench, that is the people who hold portfolios, who hold ministries in particular, and the people who can ask questions are usually the people from the opposition as well as people who do not hold any portfolios. For example, if we have Tejasvi Surya in the committee, he is also allowed to ask questions to the people in the treasury bench who hold such ministries, and accordingly he'll be allowed. But here you have to also ensure that the particular party policy is not violated of him being of the same party. So that has to be kept in mind. Otherwise, anybody who does not hold the ministry, who does not hold a particular, who's not a part of, who's not responsible for the particular ministry, is allowed to ask question. Now, the people who are answerable are by default the people who are in the ministry, and they are answerable to the questions that is dedicated to that particular ministry itself. Now, there are certain questions which are also directly directed to the prime minister as well as the home minister. So that is accordingly being set. Now, what type of questions are to be asked? So here comes the catch that the questions are based on administrative issues of that particular ministry. अभी जो भी चल रहा है उस particular ministry के बारे में, जैसे if let's say for that matter, if you wish to ask defense ministry a question based on the recent terror attacks and the overall work done by that particular ministry, you can directly raise it to the question for that particular ministry. Now, ये question आप कब पूछेंगे और कैसे पूछेंगे? So, in that sense, a form will be circulated, a Google form shall be circulated, wherein you will get to ask questions uh, in that particular form, and the ministers will get those questions for them to prepare for those answers a day prior. We'll let you know accordingly how that would go in hand, but overall this is how the questionnaire works. Now, the people who will be asking question will have certain limit in terms of asking these questions. So in that sense, the limit that we have decided is that you will be getting to ask three starred question and two unstarred question. Now, what is a starred question and what is an unstarred question? It as basic as starred. The word starred itself means that it is something that is of importance, and therefore those starred question is something that the minister has to by default answer verbally. So therefore it is known as starred question because that is of importance, that holds a certain value, and that the ministry that the person, I mean, from the opposition, any parliamentarian for that matter, considers this as important. Therefore, the ministry is liable to answer for these kind of questions. Now, coming to the unstarred question. Now, unstarred question is something that is to be answered via chit format. So, unstarred question is something that is a little of less importance and that can have answers later. And the ministers have the opportunity to answer it via chit, or also they, if they wish to ignore it, they can also do that. They have that option. But overall, the answers to the unstarred question are always done via chit. But the starred questions are such that the minister by default has to give a verbal answer for. So therefore, these questions will be given to them beforehand so that they can accordingly prepare for these questions as convenient to them. And on the day of the conference, when we begin with the questionnaire, they already know the question. And accordingly, according to those questions, the person who has asked the question gets to read those questions, and the concerned minister is liable to answer then and there. This is how the questionnaire will be working. And yes, with regards to the follow up question, it is again on the EB discretion. Like, let's say a person has asked you a question and the minister gives an answer. Now, if it is not an adequately answered, and even we feel, and even the particular parliamentarian feels that it is not adequately answered, if they wish to ask a follow up question, they can always raise their placard and take a permission from the executive board and then ask for the follow up. So this is the way to ask. And if we also feel ki, okay, yes, a follow up is supposed to be granted, then only we allow it. Otherwise, if we feel ki, no, the answer is the question is being sufficiently answered, we will be not allowing the particular person to do so. Now, this is the questionnaire, entire format of the questionnaire. After the questionnaire, we have the 0 hour. Now, when it comes to the 0 hour, for the particular 0 hour, you can't, in, if I hope, I mean, I think a lot of people, if you all have done MUNs, they always raise a motion. But in Indian committees, it's never like that. In Indian committees, it's always that the particular person has to send a notice. It's a particular way or a gesture of respecting the particular dignitaries as well as the EB. So you all have to send a notice. Notice is known as a Prastav Patra. So what is a Prastav Patra? Is that, like, let's say for the 0 hour, 0 hour is something that you discuss a particular matter. Now, in order to discuss a particular matter, you have to decide beforehand what is supposed to be discussed. So for that, you have to, of course, lobby amongst yourself. Once the training session is done, the group will be open for lobbying. Once the group is open for lobbying, you all will get the opportunity to introduce yourself as well as lobby as to what will be discussed overall in the particular 0 hour. So you will get that opportunity wherein you can lobby and make groups or whatever as per your convenience. So now in this particular notice, there will be a particular format in order for you to send these notices. That format I'll be sending on the group, so you all don't have to worry. But the format has to be strictly followed. So the format includes the heading which says notice for the 0 hour. Then it also includes from to, that is from which party it is and to whom it is. So obviously it is to the executive board, that is the speaker. And then comes the topic for that particular 0 hour. And after you write the topic, the most important thing you have to write the total time. Now total time can be of like, let's say if you are keeping a 0 hour, the 0 hour can be according to your to the discretion of the members, that if they wish to keep it for 30 minutes, they can have that discussion for 30 minutes. If they want for 20 minutes, accordingly they can do it for 20 minutes. If they want two topics to be discussed, accordingly the time can be managed and they can send two notices or three notices, however it works. But here is the catch, that most important thing is that when you send a notice, there has to be the signature of that particular person, of that particular party head who is going to send that particular notice. Like, let's say the notice is from the NDA alliance as a whole, there has to be a signature uh, of Narendra Modi ji right below it. So the signature is something that is important. So then accordingly we consider it as a valid notice. Once the notice we have received, like, let's say India Alliance is also said, but India Alliance is the one who sent the notice first. So that first notice, so notices will be on the basis of first come first, which means that when suppose the India Alliance send the notice first, because when we open the floor for notices, then only you're supposed to send notices. And once we open the floor for notices, then once we get the notice of the India Alliance and then we receive of India Alliance, that means in order India Alliance send the notice first. Therefore India Alliance का जो notice होगा वो सबसे पहले voting के लिए जाएगा. Once the notice of the India Alliance that we have is being voted upon, and suppose they do not receive the required majority that was expected from the simple majority and the committee, the notice will be failing. So once the notice fails, then only we move on to the next one. But if it passes, then we will have to discuss that particular notice itself. Now, let's say this notice fails. So the second one, that is of the ND Alliance, that is something that everyone is in consensus of. Therefore, that notice gets the majority of the votes that is required, and therefore that notice is something that will be passed. So this is how once the notice is passed, then we move in for the discussion for during the zero hour. अब जीरो आवर में डिस्कस क्या करते हैं? तो जीरो आवर में एजेंडा के जो हमारा एजेंडा है उसके ऊपर डिस्कशन नहीं होता. आई होप एवरीवन हैज रेड द स्टडी गाइड. इट वाज ब्यूटीफुली ड्राफ्टेड. सो वो जो स्टडी गाइड है उसके ऊपर जो एजेंडा है वो नहीं होता. बट जीरो आवर में जो एनी मैटर ऑफ urgent importance, anything that is recently happening, and anything that you feel is something that is to be discussed out of the parliamentary procedure, wherein some topic has to have the attention of the parliamentarians, that topic is to be selected, and accordingly that topic is to be debated on. So अब ये जो debate होता है इस zero hour में, it's usually like everyone gets an opportunity to speak. Now in zero hour usually um, there are different ways of conducting zero hour. So zero hour में एक सेशन होता है जहाँ पे थोड़े से पार्लियामेंट्री बैरियर्स जो होते हैं वो थोड़े से कम होते हैं. थोड़ा सा जो डेकोरम होता है वो थोड़ा सा लाइट होता है. एंड अकॉर्डिंगली यू गेट टू डिबेट एंड वन पर्सन गेट्स टू स्पीक नॉट जस्ट वंस बट मोर देन दैट. So let's say a person gets to speak as per the time that we might decide accordingly. A person gets to speak for 30 seconds. Accordingly, the other person can also speak for 30 seconds, and accordingly, it will be moderated, and everyone will get an opportunity to speak multiple times for that particular topic during the zero hour. So, this is how the overall structure of the question hour and the zero hour works. So, this is something that we can choose to do either on day one, obviously on day one, but on day two, depending on how we go ahead with the agenda and a discussion of the agenda, we will have to figure out accordingly. And then, by seeing the time and other factors into consideration, during the time of the committee only, we will let you know about the procedural stuff. So, but overall, the procedure works in this manner itself, wherein you go ahead with the question hour, then you go ahead with the zero hour. After the zero hour, there's usually a lunch break, and after the lunch break we go ahead with the main part of our discussion, which is on the agenda. Now our agenda is basically discussion on a bill. Therefore there are two ways to go ahead of this. Before we go ahead, in order to talk about the main agenda, the next procedure, are there any doubts on the question hour or the zero hour part? If yes, you all can just raise your hand and we can take the routes. Okay, we will go ahead with Sweksha.
Um, Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Before question are what you told, like the starting part of it.
Yes, so the in the questionnaire, basically what I said was that questionnaire is something that you get to ask questions to the ministers who are responsible and liable to answer, and the questions are based on administrative issues. It can also be related to the agenda, but our agenda talks about that, so it would relate to the Minister of Broadcasting and that kind of ministry. So you can relate in that way, but usually the questions are asked in particular to that particular minister itself for their work or their administrative issues if you are facing maybe in your constituency or in your overall your people are facing any issue. So So you can raise it to that particular concerned minister, because you are a parliamentarian and you do not hold a ministry. The government is responsible to answer you. So only they will be answered. So suppose if you hold a portfolio in the opposition, or you hold a normal portfolio like Kangana Ranaut or Tejasvi Surya, you do not hold ministry, but still you are in the part of the government, but you still do not hold a ministry. So you can also ask questions. So the people who can ask questions are everyone, but the people who can answer are only the ministers. Obviously, the people who are answering cannot ask question to themselves, right? So only the people who are in the ministry are liable for answers, and others can ask questions to them. So this is how the questionnaire format works, and that is what happens during the questionnaire. I hope it clears your doubt.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Priksha.
So I had a doubt. Before the questionnaire, will we be having opening statements?
No, considering the strength of the committee that we have, it is almost more than 45. Accommodating 45 opening speeches would take a lot of committee time, and we won't be able to go ahead with the procedures of the actual Lok Sabha that we are supposed to conduct, and we won't be even able to discuss on the main agenda at hand. Therefore, opening statements is something that we won't be conducting. We will be directly starting off with the questionnaire.
Okay, I had also one more doubt. So you mentioned that we could ask questions to the Home Minister or the Prime Minister as well. If there are too many questions, can any of them like delegate it to other ministries to answer them in a better manner, or is that not allowed?
No, usually one cannot delegate a question to anybody unless that particular minister is going to be absent for both the days. If that comes the case, then the EB will, according to their discretion, we will let you know what exactly is to be done and what exactly is to be, taken into consideration. But usually this does not happen unless and until a person is absent. Now, you have the opportunity to ask three starred question that you can dedicate it to anybody. If you wish to ask all your three starred question to one particular minister, that is completely your lookout. If you wish to ask two questions to, let's say, Narendra Modi ji, and one question to a different minister, that is completely your call. You can do whatever, but the questions limit that you have is only three, and two are unstarred. Unstarred also you can ask anyone, but the unstarred question ke answers you can expect via chit and not verbally.
Also, one last doubt. Will the questionnaire be conducted on both of the days or only the first day?
Yeah, with regards to both the days, it will depend on how many questions that we have and how much. Suppose at times what happened, considering there are a lot of people, sometimes questionnaire also continues on day two of day one. So if that happens, then on day two also we'll be continuing with the questionnaire.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, Suman.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
So you talked about start and unstart question. So who's gonna decide that it is a start question or it is an unstart question?
Sorry. Can you repeat?
I said you said about start and unstart question, right?
Right.
So so who's gonna decide that it is a start question or it is an unstart question?
So in the form, right? So we send you forms beforehand. So in the form, so let's say we have opened a form. In the form, we specifically mention there is a particular format of that form wherein you will see that there is from to start. Unstart is something that you have to choose, and then only ask question. So when the form is ready, you will be able to figure out. If you are asking a question, you will be able to figure out what you have to choose, and when the ministers are going to get these questions, it will be accordingly framed in a particular Excel sheet or PDF, wherein you will figure out who has asked you start question and who has asked you unstart question, and accordingly it will reach to you. So it will be properly put forward in front of you, where it won't be confusing to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. One last doubt is of Nigel.
Yes, miss. Miss, so this is my first Indian committee, and as a matter of fact, I was wondering if we have a specific agenda, such as the broadcasting bill. how am I going to be marked if I am asking a minister, like let's say the Honorable Home Minister, if I am asking him about the Pahalgam attacks? So then how is that going to be marked? And another follow-up question to that is, am I supposed to send all my 5 questions on that first form only, or can I send, or will the form be opened again before the second day of committee?
With regards to the second question, the questions that you ask, you have to, suppose if you're asking three start question, you have to fill the form one, like let's say you're asking one question, so the question should be in that particular form filled once. Now, second question, you have to fill the form again for the second question, and for the third question, accordingly, third question, and for unstart, you have to fill the form accordingly.
Okay,
But when it comes to, like, let's say you have asked these questions differently in the form, it will accordingly come, and accordingly we will be taking it in the questionnaire, and जितने होते हैं questions उतने लिए जाएंगे, अगर उनमें से कुछ बच जाते हैं तो वो अगले दिन लिए जाएंगे. So that will be explained to you accordingly on the day of the conference कि कितने questions लेने हैं, plus जो PDF बनेगा उसमें भी आपको समझ में आएगा कि किसने कितने questions किसको पूछे हैं and कितने हम लोग allow करने वाले हैं.
understood, ma'am. And the
Or
first.
yes, with regards to the marking, I think the marking structure is something that sir will definitely let you know during the day of the committee. So you don't have to worry on the marking. But आपने जो question पूछा कि अगर मैंने पहलगाम के बारे में पूछा, so that is basically the questionnaire part. जैसे कि आपने अभी questionnaire का पर्पस ये है कि आप एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव के रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछो, मिनिस्ट्री को क्वेश्चन करने का आपको मौका मिलता है कि आप कैसे उनको क्वेश्चन करो. तो वो आप किस क्वालिटी का क्वेश्चन पूछते हो या फिर किस वे में आप क्वेश्चन पूछते हो, उस हिसाब से यूजुअली मार्किंग्स होती है.
Understood,
So
ma'am.
it's as
Thank
simple as that.
you. Okay.
Yeah. uh Preksha, do you have another doubt?
Yeah, I just had one more doubt. What is the time limit for the unstarred questions to be answered?
Time in the committee you're asking?
No, the unstarred questions will be answered on the Google document
Yeah,
itself, right?
so questions via chat, when you answer for the unstart question, you have to give that particular answer during the questionnaire time only. So whenever the questionnaire is open, during that time, when we are taking up the questionnaire, at that time only you can send those chits that you have got the questions for during the questionnaire time.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Varad, do you have a doubt?
Actually, can you re-explain about 0 hour the second session in short?
Yes, so zero hour is something that you discuss matters of urgent importance, wherein any topic related, apart from the agenda that we have, any topic, like let's say you wish to discuss on the current, linguistic issue that is happening around, that is something that is currently happening, that is recent, and that is something that uh, holds a little bit of issues that is coming out with regard to the people around and the linguistic issue. So you can choose that topic, and or there is just an example, obviously you discuss amongst your fellow parliamentarians, and according to the consensus of whatever you wish to discuss, you can discuss that, and that topic is to be given in a notice
Okay.
format, and that notice is to be sent whenever we open the
Yeah.
floor for notices for the 0 hour. And according to the notice, it is voted upon, and that topic
Okay.
is being discussed. Now, when you discuss that topic, it is given in particular way that everyone gets an opportunity to speak. Let's say for 30 seconds, then you everyone gets an equal recognition in terms of speaking about that topic. It can have a little bit of
Okay.
less parliamentary barriers. Overall, that's a topic out of what the agenda is, and it is a separate session wherein you get to discuss any topic of urgent importance.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
All right, I believe these were the doubts. Now, moving ahead with the next session, after once we complete with our questionnaire 0 hour, then comes during the 0 hour itself. Once we close the notices for the 0 hour and we have received enough notices for the 0 hour, during the 0 hour we open the floor for the just a second. Okay. Yes. So in Lok Sabha, there are two things that are to be, there are two things that are to be done. First is discussion hour, and the other is readings of the bill. Now, considering our agenda is based on readings of the bill, we will be focusing on readings of the bill, wherein the bill that we have at hand would be read out in terms of three particular format that we have. Now let's say there are two things, as I mentioned, one is discussion hour and one is readings of the bill. We won't be focusing on the discussion hour, since discussion hour is something that comes on according to the agenda, if the agenda is a matter of discussion. But considering that we have a bill, we'll be focusing on readings of the bill. Now, in readings of the bill, what happens is there are three readings of the bill that are to be done. Now, how does the readings of the bill work is basically as simple as one first comes, I hope you all have seen how the Waqf Amendment Bill was tabled, discussed, and accordingly sent to the JPC and then finally passed. These are the ways of how you overall send the particular bill for put up the bill for tabling, then you discuss it, you make certain amendments. If you feel they are good, then they, according to the consensus and according to the voting, then you particularly pass it accordingly. So this is how it's actually done, and overall this is how it actually goes. Now let's say our agenda, now let's say we take the bill. So the person who has it particularly brought that bill to the table will be introducing that bill, I mean will be tabling that bill. Tabling of bill is nothing but introducing the particular bill in a particular format. So in that sense, like what the bill that we have at hand will be tabled for introduction. So the particular person who has brought the bill would be saying that I this particular representative, I am here to put forward this bill for discussion. Now that once the tabling is done, that tabling will be voted upon for discussion. That is known as the second reading of the bill. So second reading of the bill is discussion on the bill, wherein you discuss on that particular bill in that particular format. Now, let's say once you voted, everyone voted in consensus after the tabling of the bill to discuss the bill for the second round of the discussion on the bill. Then what happens is we recognize speakers. Now here you get an opportunity to discuss properly in detail on the particular bill and on the particular agenda that we have at hand, wherein a speakers list is being maintained, and accordingly the speakers get an opportunity to make their point. A particular time is set. That time we will let you know accordingly. Usually it's 60 or 90 seconds. We can, according to the discretion of everyone, we can figure out what can be the time for each speech. So let's say we have a recognized list of speakers, and according to that list of speakers, one by one, we go ahead with the speakers. So let's say one person starts giving the speech. After the speech is done, we have something known as POIs. POI is nothing but point of information. Point with regards to the other points, I will definitely explain you all later. But point of information is something that you get an opportunity to ask questions to fellow parliamentarians on their speech and on their points. So discussion is nothing but you get to discuss on the bill, and you get to give your points and speeches, and accordingly you get to ask questions for that on that speech by that particular parliamentarian, and accordingly that keeps on going. And here also there is something known as follow up. If you feel that the question is not adequately answered, तो आप लोग उसका follow up बिल्कुल मांग सकते हैं, and accordingly if we feel कि yes it is required, then we grant it to you. सो ऐसा होता है, तो जो भी रिकग्नाइज लिस्ट ऑफ पीपल है, according to that list itself we go ahead with these particular speeches one by one, and then there are point of information on that particular discussion. तो ये हुआ डिस्कशन. अब डिस्कशन सबसे बहुत लंबा चलता है. अगर आपने देखा होगा कि इन रियलिटी द डिस्कशन कीप्स ऑन going for days and days, but considering this is a stimulation, we won't be having that much time as such, since we only have 2 days. So we accordingly will be figuring out कि कैसे और किस प्रकार से हमको ये डिस्कशन करना है. So let's say if we discuss the particular bill for the entire day, and finally if you feel that the discussion is adequately done, then we move to the third. If we go to the third, we will have to see. If we do not go, then again that's how the committee time works for us. But the third position that we are at is the third reading of the bill, which is nothing but making any amendments or voting on the bill. Now, let's say you have discussed the entire bill. You have discussed on each and every point. You have the opposition has brought out the flaws. The opposition has maybe brought out a particular. Maybe they must have appreciated. That's completely according to the policy and according to what the portfolio stance is. The government will try to let's say defend it or like to give the proper answers and rebuttals to the allegations or to the loopholes raised out by the opposition. Once all of that is done and once amendments are there, so what next we do is uh, we go ahead with the amendments and voting. Now, let's say something that
Then
sorry, who's that? Okay. So let's say in the third one, suppose it people wish to suggest amendments, people wish to bring new changes to the floor. That is done in the third reading of the bill, and accordingly, if the government agrees, they can wish they can this completely their discretion. They can choose to add those amendments, or they can choose to remove they can choose to not agree with those amendments. That's completely their call. And finally what happens is something known as voting on the bill. Now once discussion is done, once amendment is done, this is something that is hypothetical. Things can change accordingly and things can uh, move around in a different manner as well, considering if the opposition or maybe they try to convince others to not perhaps make amendments or go ahead with the voting. So that can also be another case. But overall, when once you go finally for the third reading wherein it is the amendment and the voting on the bill, so that comes a place where it's the final session wherein you either agree with making the changes or you don't. But since the government might have the majority, they can choose to take the amendments or choose to not take the amendments, considering it's their uh, purview in that terms. And finally, what happens is we move ahead with the voting of that particular bill, be it a new bill or with changes, or it being the same bill with the same whatever is there. It's completely whatever the committee goes to in what direction. And once that is done, we go ahead with the voting of the particular bill. So once the voting and everything is done, and let's say it can either pass or it can either fail. So these are the possible two options that can actually happen. Or then sometimes it also goes for further committee, further discussion. All of those things can be decided as per what the delegates want. Sorry, representatives and parliamentarians want. So this is basically how it overall goes. And that also covers the documentation part in the end, wherein you can either draft that particular bill more enhanced way by making your own changes, by making adding your own amendments, and overall going ahead with that. So this is the overall flow of how day one and day two works. Like let's say on day one, you begin with the question hour, 0 hour, then you start with discussion on the bill. By default, day one would definitely have discussion on the bill only, and then on day two, again, that discussion would be continued. That discussion would go on till day two, and obviously, we'll have the remaining question hour. Then we can also, if we get time, we can also accommodate 0 hour on day two as well. And then again, the final third reading of the bill would be after the lunchtime, wherein we have the remaining time required according to the time and overall environment of the committee. We will see if we are going ahead with the third reading of the bill. And all of these things that have been told is how day one and day two would usually work. Now obviously there might be certain changes, there might be certain sudden changes in terms of how the rop works, but this is the overall procedure that we will be moving ahead with. And you definitely have various points that you all can used throughout the committee session. There's only one point that can be interrupted while a person is speaking. Otherwise, nobody can disrespect or interrupt or talk in between when someone is giving their speech or when someone is speaking to another person. But there is a point known as point of personal privilege, which you can raise if let's say a person is giving their speech and that person is not audible enough. You can raise a point of personal privilege for them to speak a little louder. That is allowed when someone is speaking. But overall, like let's say if you have there are other personal privilege, like if you want the fan to be switched off, if you want water, or if you want go to washroom, for all of those things, do not raise a point of personal privilege when someone is speaking. You can directly do that. There is no restrictions for drinking water or going to washrooms. It can be completely allowed, so you don't need to raise a point of personal privilege for these things. But in between when someone is speaking, overall you can raise it at any point of time. But if you're unable to hear someone, if that person is inaudible, then you can raise a point of personal privilege and interrupt that person's speech. Now, next thing that comes is a point of parliamentary inquiry. Now, let's say during the committee session that we are going about, and during that time, if you feel कि आपको समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है कि कमिटी में क्या चल रहा है, नेक्स्ट सेशन क्या होगा, या फिर आगे क्या बोलना है, या फिर ओवरऑल इन जनरली क्या करना है. If you are unable to figure out that, then you can always raise a point of parliamentary inquiry and ask the executive board whatever your query or concern with regard to the parliamentary procedure is. So that is the point of parliamentary inquiry. Now, the third one that comes is the point of order. Now, the point of order is something in Indian committees specifically is on the executive board only for if they do not follow the parliamentary procedure as per the Green Book. Uh, and it is also like, let's say, a particular list of speakers are recognized, and we forget to recognize one person, and we move on with the next person, and that person has forgot to give a speech. Sorry, we forgot to take his name to give his speech. That means you can raise a point of order on the EB that the EB has failed to recognize the person who was recognized before in the list. So these are the things according to the procedural error. If the executive board makes, that is, if we make any mistake, you are allowed to raise a point of order that showcases how vigilant you are. Usually, in MUNs, you must have seen point of orders are raised on factual inaccuracy. Now, usually in Indian committees, that is not considered because there is no such rule in the first place. Secondly, as politicians and as parliamentarians, whenever you give a speech, you all are basically expressing your own self and your public opinion, and considering that. Therefore, these factual inaccuracy points are not considered. Therefore, point of order is usually on the executive board. Now, the next thing that you have is point of information. As already explained, point of information is something that you get to ask questions to to your fellow parliamentarians. Suppose they give a speech, and it's a discussion happening. Accordingly, you will be allowed POIs. Now, the POI's discretion and the limit lies with the executive board according to the weightage of the speech and according to various other factors, the time constraint, etc. POIs are allowed, and the number of POIs would also be explained to you accordingly on the day itself. So, this is how a point of information works, wherein you get to ask questions and accordingly follow ups, if required, are granted. Next is the right of reply. Now, right of reply is very rarely used in that sense. But why is it used is when a particular person takes the name of that person and says something derogatory that is absolutely unacceptable in a particular parliament and the parliamentary procedure. That would be considered as derogatory, and accordingly, that the person can raise a right of reply for the same. For example, sometimes people say that someone this particular person has done this, or someone makes a remark. Like a lot of times in committees, I've seen people saying Rahul Gandhi is a pappu or something like that. That is a derogatory remark, and that would be considered for a right of reply, which is disrespectful for that particular parliament in a particular procedure wherein you feel wherein you are representing a lot of people and you have come at a particular place which holds a certain value. Therefore, these kind of gestures or remarks won't be entertained, and therefore it would come under right of reply. So that person can raise a right of reply. So these are the following points that you all have in the particular committee. Overall, the most important thing is that when it comes to research, it is expected that you have authentic resources, let's say from the Constituent Assembly debates, the PIB, authentic government reports, ministry reports, government records. All of those things are considered more valuable than any sort of newspaper articles or any other points and any other considerations for that matter. So therefore it is expected from us that you take you when you research, you ensure that you research from valid and relevant sources. And whenever you research, three things are very important: that you need to know about your own portfolio that you are representing, your party's stance and ideology, and second thing, about the agenda overall, and most important that you also need to research about your uh, allies and enemies, like who about the other portfolios that you have. You need to know about them, so accordingly you can ensure that you can criticize, or you know about the history of that particular person, so you get to also defend yourself in a way. So these are the things that you need to know. You need to research about your portfolio, your party, your other members, as well as good research on the agenda. So these are the things that you need to overall focus on. So this was the entire explanation of the overall ROP that we have. Now sir, if you wish to add anything, you can please.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much, Ria, for taking the arduous effort of taking the committee and the participants through the rules of procedure. Secondly, thank you to all of the participants who have made it this evening, because we understand that there could be some prior commitments. But nonetheless, you have been quite engaging audience. Some of you have addressed the questions on the chat as well, and I've tried to address them as much as possible. Nonetheless, I think by and large, all the questions have been addressed. The explanation was thorough. But at any point of time, if you feel that even we are making a mistake, be it in explaining the rules of procedure, be it in terms of the questions which you might feel were not adequately answered, you can come down to us at any point in time. You can write to us either on WhatsApp, you can give us a call anytime. This is one thing. Second thing, I'll divert a little bit from the rules of procedure, and this is something that I usually prefer to inform all the participants. Swiksha, I have realized that you have a question probably, but I'll take that. Yeah, thank you so much. So there are three quick suggestions that I would like to offer to all of you. Number one, please do not worry about the rules of procedure. Lok Sabha is not a conventional MUN committee. Point number one. So you have to focus, or you should probably focus more on your debate part. Uh, don't feel bogged down, even if you have experienced participants or members in the committee. It doesn't matter. Your focus should be completely on doing as well as possible, and be as professional as possible. That is one thing. The second thing is, uh, there are certain aspects of committees like AIBPM, Lok Sabha, or for that matter, even Rajya Sabha, that members take the privilege or the liberty to sort of engage or indulge in personal give and throw. What I have personally observed is, while that does become a little more engaging, while that becomes a little more entertaining, but we will not recommend you to do that, because for two reasons. Number one, it eats up the committee time and nothing fruitful comes out of it. तो मोदी चोर है या राहुल गांधी पप्पू है, आई थिंक इसको आप अवॉइड करिए. एज फार एज पॉसिबल अगर आपको एंगेज भी करना है वन ऑन वन बेसिस पे तो थोड़ा प्रोफेशनल रहिए, थोड़ी डिसेंसी मेंटेन करिए. इट इज द लीस्ट ऑफ द रिक्वेस्ट दैट वी हैव टू मेक टू ऑल ऑफ यू. And the third suggestion which I would like to give to you is please do not use Google during committee. Even if you are doing it, it is fine. Because we understand कि information नहीं होती है कई बार या फिर हमें perform करना है. At the end of the day, this is a competition, right? But at least think about the others who have come prepared. कोई बात नहीं अगर आपका रिसर्च ठीक ठाक नहीं हुआ है, कोई बात नहीं. पहले दिन अगर आपको लगता है कि आप ठीक से बात नहीं कर पाए हो, आप पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पाए हो या हमने ज्यादा आपको रिकग्नाइज किया है, प्लीज इन्फॉर्म अस इन दैट केस. एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली what I also request you is first day पे अगर नहीं हुआ है ठीक performance, you still have one more day to go, so you can improve your performance. So try and avoid googling stuff while in the committee. Do not use ChatGPT to ask questions or for that matter to respond to the questions. Do not prepare your addresses or your remarks using ChatGPT. Try and avoid it. ये कंपटीशन है, बट दिस इज नॉट द एंड ऑफ द रोड. तो ये तीन जनरल चीजें जो मैं यूजुअली हर कमिटी में बताता हूँ. सो that is one thing. Now again, Ria has already answered some of the questions verbally. I've answered some of the questions on the chat. We have two questions, one from Sweksha and another one from Arjun. So I'll pause for a minute. We'll take the questions and then we'll proceed. Yeah, Sweksha.
Hello, sir. Actually, this is my first time in which like I am participating in this particular proper debate of parliamentary. So I want to ask I can't understand what is roll call and then the quorum procedure before the question hour. May you please explain?
Yeah. So Ria, would you like to take that or should I continue?
If you want, you can take, or I can also explain.
Okay, Sweksha. So I'll continue with this question. So Sweksha, understand one thing. देखिए, सिंपल सी चीज है. हम कॉलेज में जाते हैं, जाने के बाद क्या होता है, हमें हर लेक्चर के लिए अटेंडेंस मिलता है, राइट? सो वो रोल कॉल सेम प्रोसीजर यहाँ पे भी फॉलो होती है. एंड यू कैन बी इन एनी कमिटी, लोकसभा में हो, राज्यसभा में हो, एआईबीपी में, ये जो सारी अनकन्वेंशनल कमिटीज है, या फिर आप किसी प्रॉपर इम्यून कमिटी में, फिर किसी भी मतलब सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल, जनरल असेंबली, इकोसॉक एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. सो आपका रोल कॉल इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? नंबर वन, it allows the committee as well as the presiding officers to know that a person named so and so is present in the committee and would like to participate. तो वो रोल कॉल होता है. अभी रोल कॉल कैसे इन प्रैक्टिस इसको कैसे किया जाता है? सिंपल सी चीज है. वी विल बी प्रोवाइडेड विद द लिस्ट ऑफ द अटेंडेंस. हम आपसे पूछेंगे वेदर सो एंड सो पर्सन इज प्रेजेंट इन द हाउस. ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज आपको आपका प्लकार्ड जो होगा वो बस उठाना है और आपको आपका प्रेजेंस सबको बताना है. Is this understood so far? That is how the roll call works. हमने आपसे पूछ लिया, आपको बस एक चीज करनी है, प्लकार्ड उठा के बस आपको बताना है that you are present in the committee. Okay, perfect. Now let's come to the second part of your question. कोरम क्या होता है? अभी देखिए, आपने भी एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा. एक आध दिन ऐसा भी आ जाता है जब स्टूडेंट्स को लगता है कि नहीं अटेंड करनी है क्लास. तो क्या करते हैं यूजुअली स्टूडेंट्स? बंक कर देते हैं या फिर अटेंड ही नहीं करते. अगर 50 स्टूडेंट्स का क्लासरूम है लेकिन उसमें सिर्फ 4 या 5 स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं, तो क्या फैकल्टी पढ़ा सकती है? लाजमी सी बात है वो नहीं पढ़ाएंगे क्योंकि वो आगे बढ़ नहीं सकते. इवन इफ दे कंटिन्यू, दे विल हैव टू रीडू देयर सेशंस अगेन, राइट? तो डुप्लीकेसी ऑफ वर्क हो जाता है, रिडंडेंसी ऑफ वर्क हो जाता है. सो व्हाट वुड द फैकल्टी डू इन दैट केस? सिंपल सी चीज है, वो कहेंगे कि ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, आज अटेंडेंस नहीं है, वो सेम क्लास किसी और दिन कर लेंगे, राइट? सो दे विल पॉज देमसेल्व्स फ्रॉम कंटिन्यूइंग फर्दर, राइट? सिंपल सी चीज है. कोरम भी वही होता है. अगर एक्स नंबर ऑफ मेंबर्स अगर हाउस में नहीं है, मान के चलिए अभी इस कमिटी में 45 मेंबर्स है और दिस इज व्हाट वी नो एज ऑफ टुडे. तो अगर 45 मेंबर्स की ये कमिटी है, यूजुअली द कोरम इज सेट टू 1/10 ऑफ द टोटल मेंबरशिप ऑफ द हाउस. तो 45 का 1/10 हुआ 4.5. राउंड ऑफ कर लीजिए, बिकम्स 5 पीपल। तो किसी भी समय पे जब हम सिटिंग शुरू करते हैं, सिटिंग यानी से फॉर इंस्टेंस आपकी सबसे पहली वाली सीटिंग है, जब ओपनिंग आपका सेरेमनी हो जाता है, हम लोकसभा कमेटी में जाते हैं, वहां पे बैठ जाएंगे, स्टार्ट विद द फॉर्मल प्रोसीडिंग्स। वो आपकी पहली सिटिंग है। लंच के लिए ब्रेक कर लेते हैं, लंच के बाद वापस आ जाते हैं, दैट बिकम्स योर सेकंड सिटिंग। तो किसी भी सिटिंग में एट एनी पॉइंट इन टाइम अगर हमारे पास 5 लोग हैं उस कमिटी में, तो हम प्रोसीडिंग्स को शुरू रखेंगे या जारी रखेंगे। तो आपका कोरम ये होता है कि मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स रिक्वायर्ड इन द कमिटी टू कंटिन्यू विद द प्रोसीडिंग्स ऑफ द कमिटी। तो क्या आपको समझ में आ गया रोल कॉल क्या होता है और कोरम कैसे एस्टेब्लिश होता है?
Yes, it's clear. And the last one is like the closer of the thing. So in the closer, the final is that the decision that the final bill is passed or not, right?
या बट दैट इज नॉट नेसेसरीली द क्लोजर ऑफ इट। देखिए, क्लोजर मोशन होता है। और अगर लोकसभा में या राज्यसभा में अगर आप बिजनेस कंडक्ट रूल बुक देखोगे, कंडक्ट ऑफ बिजनेस रूल्स कहा जाता है उसको, लोकसभा की अलग होती है, राज्यसभा। तो क्लोजर जो होता है बिल का, वो 4 अलग अलग तरीकों से होता है। एक होता है सिंपल क्लोजर, दूसरा होता है कैंगारू क्लोजर, तीसरा होता है आपका क्लोजर बाय कंपार्टमेंट्स। तो ये 3 पॉपुलर तरीके। चौथा होता है ग्यूलेटिव। अभी देखिए, यूजुअली जो फॉलो किया जाता है इवन इन एम्यूएंस, टू बी ऑनेस्ट विद यू, मैंने ये बहुत नहीं देखा है, बट बाय एंड लार्ज जो पॉपुलर एम्यूएंस होते हैं या जो एग्जीक्यूटिव बोर्ड वेल वर्स्ड होते हैं, वो क्या करते हैं, किसी भी एक वो कभी अपना नॉर्मल रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर को अगर फॉलो कर रहे हैं, जिसमें जनरल डिस्कशन और फिर मॉडरेटेड एंड अनमॉडरेटेड कॉकस कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें वो एक चीज जरूर करते हैं, हर मॉडरेटेड कॉकस के बाद तुरंत वोटिंग कर लेते हैं। वो वोटिंग क्यों करना चाहते हैं? तो उसका बड़ा सिंपल रीजन है। उनका ये मानना होता है कि अंत में जाते जाते कभी भी हमारे लिए वोटिंग करने का उतना समय नहीं बचता है, तो बिजनेस यूजुअली अनफिनिश्ड रहता है। बेटर ऑप्शन ये है कि आपका एक डिस्कशन हो जाए तो तुरंत उसके बाद उस क्लॉज पे वोटिंग कराया जाए। तो ये एक तरीका हुआ, उसे कहा जाता है क्लोजिंग बाय कंपार्टमेंट। इफ पॉसिबल विल ट्राई टू डू दैट। तो अंत में आपको क्या करना है, पूरा बिल जैसा भी होगा उस पर वोटिंग करना है, दैट बिकम्स अ सिंपल क्लोजर। बट उससे पहले हम छोटे छोटे कंपार्टमेंट्स में भी उसको वोट कर सकते हैं। बट देन अगेन दैट डिपेंड्स। आपको अगर नहीं भी समझ में आ रहा है, कोई बात नहीं, विल रिपीट द रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर ऑन द डे ऑफ द कमिटी। क्या आपको इतना समझ में आ गया? क्लोजर का मतलब डिबेट को क्लोज करना होता है, ये नेसेसरी नहीं है कि आप वोटिंग क्लोज करो। परफेक्ट। बस इतना समझ लीजिए कि वो डिबेट को क्लोज करता है, या फिर बिल के ऊपर जो डिस्कशन होता है एक्चुअली में उसको क्लोज किया जाता है, उसके बाद वोटिंग होता है। या अर्जुन, एंड देन विल मूव टू श्रेष्ठा। यस अर्जुन।
Yeah, good evening, sir.
गुड इवनिंग।
Yes, so my doubt was, are devices allowed, and also how similar is this committee to a MUN committee like AIPPM?
Okay. By devices, what I understand is you're talking probably about laptops and digital gadgets, right?
Yeah.
Mobile, maybe. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it is perfectly fine. Even if you draft all your speeches on your laptop, you read it out in the committee, it's okay. We don't object to that. Personally, I've never objected to anyone reading their speeches out of computer. या फिर फोन में या फिर गैजेट्स में लोग करते हैं, इट इज फॉर देयर कन्वीनियंस। हम यहाँ पे आपकी ओरेटरी देखने के लिए नहीं आए हैं, हम यहाँ पे आपके ड्राफ्टिंग स्किल्स देखने के लिए नहीं आए, और हम यहाँ पे आपके एसेज देखने के लिए नहीं आए। हम यहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक चीज के लिए आए, आपकी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है इस सब्जेक्ट पे, उस पोर्टफोलियो या पार्टी को लेकर के उसका क्या पोजीशन है, बस उतना ही आपको बताना है। सो इफ यू आर रीडिंग आउट ऑफ द गैजेट्स, इफ यू आर यूजिंग गैजेट्स, इट्स परफेक्टली फाइन। बट what is necessarily legal is also not necessarily ethical। इसलिए मैंने पहले भी बताया था, even if you are using uh, your gadgets, make sure you're not reading out directly from the Google, or you're not reading out directly from maybe Chat GPT, DeepSeek, whatever। That is one part of your question। Let me answer to the other part of your question। I'm sorry, actually I missed your question। The second part क्या था आपका अर्जुन?
Yeah, so what I meant was, how similar is this committee to a
Yeah.
MUN committee?
ओके। देखिए, लोकसभा एंड राज्यसभा ये बहुत अनकन्वेंशनल रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर फॉलो करते हैं। इसमें थोड़े प्रोसीजर्स आपके जो MUNs में फॉलो किए जाते हैं उसमें से थोड़ा पार्ट लिया जाता है. That is because we are well versed with MUN rules. Now personally I am someone who's worked in the Lok Sabha. मैंने वहां पे 2 साल के लिए काम किया है. तो आई कैन टेल यू फॉर श्योर कि लोकसभा के रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर या राज्यसभा के रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर काफी अलग होते हैं. But then there are certain things which are common. For instance, point of order is common for both MUN as well as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. AIBPM का किसी भी तरीके से कोई रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर नहीं. वो टोटली रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर बनाते हैं, क्योंकि वो काफी अनकन्वेंशनल कमिटी है. ना तो वो स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी है, ना वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी है, ना वो एक्स्ट्रा लीगल बॉडी. किसी भी तरीके की वो कन्वेंशनल बॉडी नहीं है. जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर या चीफ मिनिस्टर को लगता है कि ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग बुलानी चाहिए, तब AIBPM आके बैठता है. और पार्टी उसमें कोई वोटिंग भी नहीं होता इनफैक्ट. लेकिन क्योंकि ये कंपटीशन है, तो AIBPM हो या लोकसभा हो, उनके रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर दे आर ड्रॉन पार्टली फ्रॉम MUN and partly from the actual ways in which the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha functions. क्या exact differences है? I think let's not get into that. Even if you want to know it, just drop me a message on my WhatsApp. I'm there on the group. I'll let you know. No issues. जैसे एक सिंपल एग्जांपल दिया कि फॉर इंस्टेंस पॉइंट ऑफ ऑर्डर होता है, बट एक दूसरा एग्जांपल भी देता हूँ. रोल कॉल कॉमन होता है, कोरम कॉमन होता है, लेकिन उसमें भी अभी जो स्पीच टाइम होता है, अगर आप MUN में जाते हो, इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू रेज अ मोशन, तो आपको टॉपिक बतानी होती है, पर स्पीकर्स ड्यूरेशन बताना होता है और टोटल ड्यूरेशन बताना, राइट. बट लोकसभा में या राज्यसभा में वैसे नहीं होता. इट इज द बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमिटी विच ऑलरेडी डिसाइड्स कि किस पार्टी को कितना टाइम देना है, और उस पार्टी का जो टोटल टाइम है उसको डिवाइड किया जाता है इक्वली इनटू द नंबर ऑफ स्पीकर्स. से फॉर इंस्टेंस कांग्रेस के पास 99 MPs है लोकसभा में, और बीजेपी के पास 240 है, तो प्रोपोर्शनेट टाइम एलोकेट किया जाता है. उसमें भी अगर 240 में से 20 ही लोग बात करने वाले हैं, तो टोटल टाइम को इक्वली डिवाइड किया जाता है बिटवीन 20 पीपल. बट इंटरनली अगर उनकी कोई अरेंजमेंट हो कि कोई 2 मेंबर्स ही बात करेंगे 20 में से, तो बाकी 18 लोगों का टाइम भी उनको दिया जाता है. अभी ये MUN में भी फॉलो होता है, विच इज कॉल्ड एज यील्डिंग द फ्लो, राइट. सो देर आर बोथ सिमिलैरिटीज एज वेल एज डिफरेंसेस. तो लोकसभा में या राज्यसभा में इट इज यूजुअली द प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर हु विल डिसाइड द टाइम. It is the presiding officer who will decide the agenda, which is not the case in MUN. So there are very many specifics which we can get into, but I think you've got the point.
Yes, I got the point. Also, sir, what will be the primary language?
You can continue in English, absolutely fine. But if you want to switch to Hindi, that is also acceptable. In case यहाँ पे I don't know DMK का कोई representation है तमिलनाडु या डाउन साउथ से कोई रिप्रेजेंटेशन, शायद तो नहीं है जहां तक मेरी जानकारी है. बट इफ एट ऑल इफ यू वांट टू स्पीक इन लैंग्वेज अदर देन इंग्लिश एंड हिंदी, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर गिविंग आउट अ टेक्स्ट ईदर इन हिंदी और इन इंग्लिश, सो दैट इट बिकम्स पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू मेक अ फेयर असेसमेंट as
Sir,
well
can
as
I,
that interest of the committee.
so can I use both? Like in my speech, can I use both?
Yeah, you can be bilingual.
Devanagari and
Beshak, Beshak.
thank you, sir.
Sure. Yeah, Tejas, and then we'll come to Shrestha.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good
So
evening.
actually, my question was regarding that since there's a limit on the number of POIs to a particular parliamentarian, as per the discretion of the executive board. So if we want, can we raise the POI via form of chit? And if it is, what will be the format of it?
ओके, POIs, देखिए पर्सनली मैं भी ये फॉलो करता हूँ. उसका रीजन बड़ा सिंपल है. इफ यू डू नॉट लिमिट द नंबर ऑफ POIs पर स्पीकर, इट बिकम्स एन एसे राइटिंग कॉम्पिटिशन. पीपल कीप ऑन राइटिंग लॉन्ग चिट्स, और एग्जीक्यूटिव बोर्ड का आधा ध्यान तो पॉइंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन पढ़ने में ही चला जाता है. सो वी डोंट वांट टू डू दैट. Number two, we want to listen to your points, because this is again a debate competition, right? So there is a middle path which is to restrict the number of POIs. Point number one. Point number two, उसका मार्किंग सब्सटैंटिव होगा या 0 and 1 में होगा, बुलियन में होगा, कैसे होगा, विल डिस्कस दैट. पहले हम आपस में एक विल फॉर्म अ कंसेंसस माई सेल्फ एंड रिया, एंड देन विल लेट यू नो कि उसका मार्किंग कैसे होगा. बट नंबर वन, देयर विल बी अ रिस्ट्रिक्शन. अगर आपको ओरली या वर्बली पॉइंट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन देना है तो वो आप कर सकते हो, But then again, should there be a total restriction on number of POIs, or should there be a distinction between verbal and written? Again, we'll get to you on that part.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, Shrishta, please go ahead.
So in the question R, what if like a particular minister gets like a lot of questions and
I'm sorry, Shrishta, but you are not audible.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So my question was that if in question R, a particular minister gets a lot of questions while some ministers do not get even one question, then what will happen like?
Okay, so that is quite a possibility. That some people get a lot of questions, others don't. And that happens because of the contemporary issues which are being discussed in the media. Personally, what I have preferred or what I have followed, this is not the first time that I'm chairing a PCGT committee. I think this was in 2020 when I made a small change to the rules of procedure, which is usually followed in India. And what I did was I completely did away with question hour. दो है मेरे लिए. पहला रीजन ये था, क्वेश्चन आवर डजंट फैसिलिटेट डिबेट. वो कोई एक इंसान क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है और कोई एक इंसान उसको रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहा है, तो वो वन ऑन वन हो जाता है जैसे एमयूएन में होता है, बट एटलीस्ट वहां पे मार्किंग होता है. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन आवर के बेसिस पे मैं आपको कैसे एसेस करूँ, दैट इज वन थिंग. तो वो एक टेक्निकल इशू हो जाता है कि कमिटी कम्स डाउन टू जस्ट टू पीपल वेयर वन पर्सन आस्क्स अ क्वेश्चन, द अदर पर्सन रिस्पॉन्ड्स. दैट इज वन रीजन व्हाई यूजुअली आई डू नॉट प्रेफर क्वेश्चन आस्क. The second reason is question asks do not facilitate the agenda. They do not facilitate the committee, number one. Number two, they do not facilitate the agenda. होता क्या है, आपका एजेंडा कुछ और है. फॉर इंस्टेंस आपका एजेंडा है गरीबी की रेखा, और होता ये है कि आप बात करते रहते हो रेखा की गरीबी. तो दैट डजंट हेल्प. तो पर्सनली मेरा व्यू ये है, इफ द कमिटी फील्स सो, वी कैन डू अवे विद क्वेश्चन आवर, बट इट इज अप टू यू पीपल, यू लेट अस नो. अगर आप चाहते हो कि क्वेश्चन आवर हो, तो उसके लिए एक तो हमारा हेडेक बढ़ जाता है कि हमें उसको, क्योंकि आपने भी एफर्ट लिया है, इवन यू पीपल हैव टेकन अ लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट just to draft the questions or to draft your responses. But on our side, we have to take questions from one person, send it away across to the other person, and request that person to send his answers back to us so that we can place it in the house. So बहुत to and fro हो जाता है. Secondly, not everybody gets to ask questions, not everybody gets to respond to them. And number three, काफी wayward debate हो जाता है. फॉर इंस्टेंस एग्जैक्ट आंसर्स नहीं पता होते. अभी जैसे फॉर इंस्टेंस किसी ने स्टार्ट क्वेश्चन कर लिया, तो स्टार्ट क्वेश्चन पे इफ द पर्सन who has asked the question feels that the answer wasn't adequately responded to, the question wasn't adequately attended by the minister, then he can request a supplementary answer for that. तो supplementary question भी पूछ सकता है. आपने मुझसे कोई सवाल किया, मैंने आपको जवाब दिया, बट यू आर नॉट सेटिस्फाइड, सो इन दैट केस यू कैन रिक्वेस्ट फॉर अ सप्लीमेंट्री क्वेश्चन. अगर ईबी को लगता है कि देना चाहिए है तो दे दिया जाता है, अगर उसको लगता है कि नहीं देना चाहिए तो वहां पे डिस्क्रिशन बन रहा है ईबी का. और किसी भी डिबेट में अगर डिस्क्रिशन ईबी का हो तो दैट इज नॉट, अगर डिस्क्रिशन कमिटी का हो तो दैट इज वेरी गुड. तो ईबी का डिस्क्रिशन जब बनता है तो मुझे लगता है कि पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए वो फेयर नहीं है. या तो ये हो जाता है कि क्योंकि हमने नहीं अलाउ किया, जो सही क्वेश्चन भी पूछना चाहता है उसको सही क्वेश्चन पूछने का मौका नहीं मिलता. नंबर टू, द मिनिस्टर गेट्स अवे इवन बाय गिविंग कैलस आंसर. अगर किसी मिनिस्टर ने या किसी पार्टिसिपेंट ने कोई ऐसा जवाब दे दिया जिसका कोई मतलब भी नहीं बनता है, तो भी उसको नंबर देने पड़ते हैं क्योंकि ही हैज मेड द एफर्ट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्डिंग. Therefore, personally, I do not prefer question ask, but I'll leave this question open to the committee. और आज ही आप बता दीजिए, वरना हमें फिर, because we are not left with much time, हमारे पास 3 या 4 दिन ही है. So I think I've tried to put my concerns across, but then again, even Riya is here. If she wants, she can weigh in with other opinion if she has any.
Sir, and just one more doubt I had. So the bill, when we start with the legislative business, the like will the 2023 bill will be taken up for discussion, or the government may like submit another drafted bill?
not necessary. 2023 का जो bill है, that is the agenda. The agenda is usually considered as set by the presiding officers, because जब agenda set किया जाता है, तो agenda set करने के लिए हाउस में जो हो रहा है वो तो सिर्फ आपको दिख रहा है, बट उसके पीछे एक प्रोसीजर होती है, और वो प्रोसीजर होती है कि एक टाइम टेबल बनाया जाता है हाउसेस का। लोकसभा का बनता है अलग से, राज्यसभा का बनता है अलग से। तो उसमें बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमिटी में वो बनाया जाता है। बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमिटी में रूलिंग एज वेल एज ऑपोजिशन पार्टीज को इन्वॉल्व किया जाता है एज पर देयर प्रोपोर्शन इन द हाउस। तो सब लोग मिलके उसको डिसाइड करते हैं कि हाउस में नेक्स्ट डे ये एजेंडा होना चाहिए, या हाउस का ये एजेंडा होना चाहिए। ये बिल डिस्कशन के लिए लाया जा सकता है। इस बिल को आपको इंट्रोड्यूस कराना है, या किसी बिल के ऊपर आप वोटिंग कराना चाहते हो, सो दैट इज डिसाइडेड बाय द बीएससी। आप ये अज्यूम करके चलिए कि बीएससी ने ये एजेंडा फाइनल किया है 23-24 की, जिस दिन हमारी एक्चुअल डेट्स है। तो आप मान के चलिए कि इसी बिल के ऊपर डिस्कशन होगा। तो आप प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, तो आप इस बिल पे कीजिए। मुझे नहीं लगता कोई नया बिल ड्राफ्ट करके आ जाएगा, क्योंकि उसके पीछे रीजन ये है। नंबर वन, आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू मे नॉट बी नोइंग ईच अदर। पहले से आप शायद एक दूसरे को नहीं जानते हो। सेकेंडली, वो बिल काफी बड़ा है देखा जाए तो, और उसमें कोई नए प्रावधान है उसके अलावा आप और क्या उसको ड्राफ्ट करोगे। मुझे लगता है बेहतर यही है। एंड दिस इज for both the government as well as the members who are representing the opposition. Preferably you should stick to the same bill, preferably। उसमें कुछ नया मत लाइए। जो ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट ने ओरिजिनल बिल में जो दिया है उसी को आप डिस्कस कीजिए। इफ यू हैव बेटर थिंग्स टू से, यू आर वेलकम।
Thank you, sir.
Sure, sure. Yeah, any other questions, doubts, clarifications to be sought? If no questions, then can we leave?
I was just asking you to wait for a minute. I would just like to give you a vote of thanks. I would like to thank the Executive Board of Lok Sabha Committee, Professor Chinmay Bendre and Ms. Riya Khangolkar, for explaining the rules of procedure of this committee and addressing the doubts and queries of the delegates. I hope that all the delegates had an enriching session and understood the committee and the agenda. I request all the delegates to please switch on their cameras as we would like to take a committee photo. Thank you, delegates, for your participation in the ROP session. Please turn on your cameras. Everyone, can you please turn on their cameras, please? Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you, the
everyone.
executive board. Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Everyone can leave this meeting.